Hi, I'm here to talk to you today about the open pipeline. I just want to introduce myself first. My name is Ross McCurlick, and I'm an open education advisor for BC Campus, which is located in British Columbia, Canada. We've got a nice map there, actually, and in this case, I have a great job of supporting open education initiatives in the interior region of British Columbia, which is that southeastern part of our province. And so I work with 6 different institutions and support them in whatever way I can to advance open education in these places, which is great. When I talk about a pipeline, it's actually not that top picture where we're looking at a resource pipeline like oil or gas, but it's actually regarding sales, like a sales pipeline. Basically, there's a sales pipeline that kind of tracks the progress between a non-customer and a customer. And so that's what we're talking about today, except we're applying that to open education. So there's that journey from non-open to open. So before I proceed, I just wanted to affirm and support that open education is all about building relationships. So that doesn't change. It's about seeing people in the hallway and talking to them about open education resources, or showing them an example of an OER, or just affirming the quality of it, that sort of thing. So you see them in the hallway, you have coffee with them, talk with your colleagues. It's just, that doesn't change. It's all about relationships. But what do you think? Do you think there's sales in open? It's a good question. There is indeed a journey from non-open to open, just like there is actually a journey between non-customer and a customer. And also, in some cases, we're asking people to switch products, which is kind of what a salesperson does in some ways. So that's an example that it could actually have some application. In this case, when I was thinking about an open pipeline, I was thinking about open education working groups in particular. In this case, actually, there is often a lot of passion within these groups, which is great. We need that. And progress, there's also a lot of progress too, but it's often behind the scenes and is not really captured in the adoption stats, which is sometimes measures progress for a particular institution. And so what if there was a way of showing the progress in that journey between non-open and open? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So this is an example of an open pipeline. It's actually, the screenshot is of an open source Kanban tool called WeCan. Kanban was actually originated in Japan. In this case, it's just a way of visually showing progress. It was actually a physical board back then, but now it seems to be, like there's lots of technological innovation. So it's more of an online tool to track progress and to assign tasks, and so that people can coordinate activities. It's actually very applicable, in my opinion, to open education working groups. The idea is that an open education working group could have access to this kind of tool and track the progress between non-open and open. So the first swim lane in our open pipeline is the promising prospect. So John here might be teaching English. You know that there's a really good open education resource for English, and so you talk to him about that. You see him in the hallway or you see him in the staff room, etc. You say, hey John, you know that there's an actual, there's a good resource that you might want to consider. That's all it is. So, but you do actually note that in this promising prospect column. Maybe write some notes about it, and maybe assign that to yourself too, so that it doesn't kind of get lost or something like that. So that's the promising prospect. The second swim lane, or the second lane is, or the second stage is the probing possibility. So in this case, John, he listens to that colleague of his that is promoting open education resources, and now he wants to take a closer look or a deeper dive or due diligence on this open education resource. So now he's probing possibility. And so that also is noted. And of course, you can actually, I forgot to mention, you can drag cards or kind of events from one lane to another. And so in this case, John could end up in this column as a probing possibility. And then there's also other probing possibilities as well. And maybe they need a bit of follow-up. And so we know who they are, and with some notes behind the card, we know what resource they're considering and that sort of thing. So that's the probing possibility. The third lane, sorry, is the active adopter. So these are folks that have actually adopted open education resources, which is exciting. That should be celebrated, and it should also be noted as well, so that when it comes time to collecting those adoption stats, then indeed it's right there. It's easy. You can write notes behind the cards to say, the number of students affected, what class he or she is using this OER for, and there's lots of good data, and then there's lots of great progress that's shown. The other part to remember is that folks might end up in this column without being in the first two. They just might join the open pipeline at that stage, and that's excellent. That's great. But we want to make note of that. And so that's actually the active adopter column. Finally, there's a contributing creator. Not finally, actually, we've got two more to go here. But the contributing creator, it's good to note about who is creating OER as well. And creation is an important part of open education strategy with an institution. So again, we just make a note, we add a card, and then that way we can also follow up to see what kind of support is needed, or to see kind of how the progress is in the creating OER. I should also mention, by the way, that often these folks that are contributing, they're creating OER are also active adopters as well, whether it be their own OER, or it could be someone else's, but they're often active adopters as well. So contributing creator is this fourth stage between the open pipeline. Also a passionate promoter, and that's the final lane here, but basically these are open education champions, and where you might call upon them to do a presentation or to highlight some of the work they're doing or something like that. And so these are important people to note, and they are noted on this open pipeline. So just as a bit of a wrap up, there is indeed a journey between non-open and open, and lots of progress happens in between these stages, and it's that we want to actually record in our open pipeline through these different stages. Just a few caveats here. Remember, it's all about relationships, so that doesn't change. Even though we're applying kind of a sales lens to open education, it is still all about relationships. And then also, remember no labeling. In this case, just keep the swim lane status to the meeting. So walk down the hall and say, oh, you're a promising prospect. That's a little bit weird, and it might also backfire on you as well. So we'll just finally look at what a complete open pipeline might look like for an open education working group. You see lots of progress, you see lots of action. If you drill down further, you've got notes on each of these specific activities, or cards as they're called. So what this does is that it shows passion and progress as well.